Yo, yo, welcome to Trippy Commentaries and our Raw reactions. I'm RJ here with Retro Brett.
Yo.
And live from Los Angeles, California is Corey. What's going on over there in LA, man?
And I'm posted up, enjoying all the fine fruits that California provides out here. It's definitely a cool Raw, man. Let's jump right into it.
Absolutely. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself over there in Cali. And let's get right into it because we got some really crazy news today. I think it was really shocking to all of us.
Yes.
Daniel Bryan came out, announced that he will be going under the knife. He'll have neck surgery this Thursday. We're not sure when he'll come back. It is going to be an indefinite leave of absence. Corey, what can you tell us about this really shocking news?
Well, I mean, it was kind of abrupt, the announcement today, so honestly, I'm not exactly 100% certain whether this is storyline or if it's the real deal, if he really does need neck surgery. I can certainly believe the fact that he does. I mean, he's one of the hardest working guys out there. He takes a whole lot of bumps that look really nasty, and, to me, it makes sense if this is the real thing. He really does have to have surgery. It makes sense to do it now instead of putting it off. I think it'll prolong his career. And, hopefully he's back soon either way, whether it is storyline or if it's an actual injury. What do you guys think?
Well, I tend to think that it is storyline because when he was talking on the mic, he seemed to be moving his neck just fine without pain.
Mm-hmm.
But if this is legit, then it's very unfortunate for him, and you don't want to mess with your neck. You gotta get that done straight away. It's, you could end up like Steve Austin and not be able to wrestle again and be paralyzed for the rest of your life if you don't fix it really soon. So
Yeah, good point, Retro. We definitely hope all gets better here with Daniel Bryan. I mean, either way, even if it is a storyline, maybe it will be good to take Bryan out of the fold for a little bit, have someone else come and turn into probably a number one heavy contender other than Kane. We have this whole Kane storyline right now, so we'll see what happens. I don't know how long we can expect for him to be gone for, but hopefully it's not long. We're already without guys like CM Punk and some others, so we don't want to see him gone for very long.
If he does have to have surgery, I believe it'll be a long time because neck surgery is pretty serious.
Yeah. All right, well, hopefully we can just hope for the best with that. But first thing let's start off with is this Evolution situation. The Shield came out right off the bat. They were waiting for him right on the Raw kickoff, and they basically came out as soon as they saw their limo pull up. They came out and kicked their ass. Corey, give us an update on the what happened there at the beginning of tonight's Raw.
Yeah, like you said, Raw kicked off tonight. We saw the Shield in the ring. They were talking a lot of smack about Evolution. And, of course, like we used to see even back in the day where the Four Horsemen would show up in the back of the arena in the limo. We saw Evolution show up in the limo, and the Shield was there to meet them. They had a little backstage brawl there. And, of course, after that, later on, we were informed that at the upcoming Payback pay-per-view, we're going to see a rematch from Extreme Rules of the Shield versus Evolution, which I think will be pretty cool. What do you guys think?
Oh, I think that's going to be awesome. As I like to see as many matches between those 6 guys as possible. You got the aged powerhouses in Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista, and the young upstarts with the Shield. Mm-hmm. So it's 3-on-3 is awesome. You see 2-on-2 all the time, but you hardly ever see 3-on-3.
Yeah, it certainly makes sense. It's definitely something to look forward to. But I got to ask you, Corey, the Shield already won the match last time they fought. So do you see anything coming out differently here? What's the point of them fighting in your eyes, other than just trying to show their dominance and actually winning once again against Evolution?
Well, what I could see happen here, I could see the Evolution getting the upper hand here and getting the win at Payback. And, of course, evening up the series at 1-1. And then, I could see that going on maybe for another month or two, and they have the rubber match eventually, hopefully at Payback. Or not Payback, but Battleground.
The rubber match.
Yeah.
I like that.
And we did see a match, come out of this. The main event tonight was Roman Reigns, and maybe one of his best matches up to date, because he fought Batista. We'll get to that match. There's a couple things I want to get to first, that being the main event. We'll get to that here in a few minutes. Another big match here, Corey. John Cena, he teamed up with the Usos to take on the Wyatts. Really cool match, and we saw Cena come out with the victory and perhaps come out with some momentum here. But then again, this seemed to have angered Bray Wyatt. He said that he now knows what he must do. What are you taking out of this one?
Basically we saw tonight, we saw the Usos and John Cena taking on, who was it? I believe it was the Wyatts, correct? The Wyatt family, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
And then towards the end of Raw, of course in that match we saw the Usos and Cena win after John Cena hit the attitude adjustment, which I thought it was a pretty good match. Those guys all seem to work pretty well together. And then, of course, later on in Raw, Bray Wyatt was interviewed or interrupted the program and challenged John Cena to a last man standing match at Payback, which I think it's a logical continuation of the story. It's going to provide a no holds barred, no rules, no disqualification format, to where we might actually see John Cena finally go ape shit and start using some weapons and chairs and finally lose it, like I've been talking about for a few months now.
Yeah, and we are going to unveil our first top 10 list here. We're going to rank the top 10 wrestlers for, of course, today and moving forward here. We'll probably make it maybe bi-weekly or monthly. We'll figure that out. But this match definitely went a long way in terms of us actually, ranking these guys and figuring out where each one stands. Bray Wyatt, John Cena, they're definitely top 5 contenders, that's for sure.
Well, I will say that Bray Wyatt probably has a massive headache getting kicked in the head so much. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was. Now, Sheamus came out and looked pretty strong today, Retro Brett. He had a double victory and really shows that he might be making a strong stand to come back here and perhaps make a title run. I mean, we'll see. We've seen him do it before, that's for sure.
Well, 2 victories back-to-back like he did today is really, really tough. I don't think I've ever seen it. I mean, you know of people getting 2 victories in a night, but not back-to-back like that.
Yeah.
And I think Sheamus is going up really fast. And actually, I guess a couple weeks ago, he was supposed to turn heel, but no one seemed to realize that. And everyone's still cheering him. So,
he's always a fan favorite.
What do you think about that, Corey?
I thought, like you said, the double victory tonight, the 2 matches. First, he took on Curtis Axel, the son, of course, of WWE Hall of Famer Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig.
Took him out pretty quickly.
I thought that match was the better of the 2. I thought it was a good showing by both of them. Sheamus has a lot of really good offense. It always looks impactful and powerful. Unlike his second opponent, who he faced tonight, Curtis Axel's tag team partner Ryback. Me personally, I think Ryback sucks ass. I can't stand him.
Fully agree.
He's injured people in the ring, which is strike number 1. He's not interesting, strike number 2. Strike number 3, I'm pretty sure that he has consumed the entire supply of steroids for possibly the East Coast.
No, that would be Scott Steiner.
Well, yeah, he definitely gets the Scott Steiner Award for most steroids. But either way, back on topic, I thought Sheamus came out looking really good after that. And, something that I've noticed, and I mentioned this off camera earlier this week to RJ, Sheamus is now the United States champion, who, of course, he's a native of Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
And Bad News Barrett recently captured the Intercontinental Championship, who is from England. Now, both of those guys spent a lot of their early careers on the independent scenes all throughout Europe and England. So I could definitely see, possibly for the upcoming UK Europe tour that WWE usually does, I could see these two maybe having a series of matches, possibly even a unification of the Intercontinental and the United States Championships, which I think would be pretty cool at this point.
Really?
I don't think there's really a need to have both. I think just simplifying the titles and going back to one World Heavyweight Championship, one second-tier championship, a Tag Team Championship, and a Divas Championship. I think that's ideal.
Yeah, definitely. That could be pretty cool. Another thing I wanted to ask you about here is we saw Stephanie McMahon get really pissed. She's been pulling this whole phony approach. You know, we all know where her true allegiance stands here, and she's pretty much trying to take out Daniel Bryan, and seems to be successful at this point. But her and Brie Bella had a little bit of a fight there, and Stephanie McMahon, I just noticed something in her eyes there. She seems pissed. I don't know if anything will come of it. I just wanted to mention it. I mean, we already have Daniel Bryan shut down all of a sudden, of course. So what do you think Stephanie McMahon can do now that she at least accomplished her goal of doing that for now?
Well, I think the whole Stephanie McMahon involvement in the Daniel Bryan storyline is just a way to take Triple H out of the picture, who was the main antagonist before, and of course allow him to be involved in the Shield versus Evolution feud, which that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
They've been building up this whole Brie Bella, who of course is Daniel Bryan's in real life, not just a storyline, his newly lawfully wedded wife. And of course Stephanie McMahon, who is the longtime wife of Triple H, also in real life, but it started as a storyline, oddly enough.
Yep.
I could see sometime in the future maybe Stephanie McMahon getting back in the ring. She wasn't exactly great as a wrestler, but I've seen much worse offensive female wrestlers in my time.
No.
So I could maybe see a Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon feud somehow coming out of this. That may be something that they try to do, which I don't think it would be a smart move. But they may use that sort of as a placeholder if indeed Daniel Bryan really is injured and has to take some time off.
Yeah.
I could see that being a route that they may take.
Yeah, what do you think, Brett?
Well, I think that's an interesting angle. First, I want to say about Stephanie McMahon's actions tonight. I was wondering what she was looking at. She appeared to be deep in thought. And
Yeah.
Maybe it was my imagination, or she seemed to have an evil grin on her face.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. She seemed pissed. I don't know if she has any plans, of course, but she seemed to be thinking of something, that's for sure.
I think it's only a matter of time before Brie's, let's say, rudeness. I mean, it's justifiable rudeness to Stephanie McMahon, but I think it's only a matter of time before Brie gets called on the carpet for that.
Yeah.
Gets punished.
Yeah, definitely something's going to happen there, you'd have to think. And before we get to the grand finale match of the night, of course, Roman Reigns, we're looking at him right now, facing off with Batista. We just have to bring up, of course, Rusev. He came out tonight and showed his dominance once again. And who knows where this is going to end. Corey, he looks like an unstoppable beast right now. What did you think about his actions tonight?
Oh, I definitely agree with your opinion. The storyline writers or the powers that be or whatever at WWE are definitely putting him in a position to where he looks really, really strong. I mean, he's just fucking completely devoured everybody over these last few weeks. And tonight, of course, we saw him, first we saw Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who, of course, that got a great reaction out of me. I'm a big fan.
Oh, yeah.
Come out, sort of aimlessly start a promo about Legends House or something. And then, of course, the newly named, no longer Alexander Rusev came out with his manager, translator Lana, whatever, translator or mouthpiece or whatever the hell she is. To me, she's just eye candy, but I digress.
Big time.
Of course, Rusev, it appeared that he may, in fact, attack Hacksaw Jim Duggan, which did not happen. We saw Big E come out, the former Intercontinental Champion, for the save. And so what it appears to me is that the first major feud that they're going to give to Rusev here where it's going to be an actual contender is going to be Big E. And I think that's a really intriguing matchup. I mean, both of those guys are legit powerhouses. I mean, they're really, really impressive just as far as their strength. I mean, you can tell those guys are just wicked strong. I don't think it's going to necessarily be the best match ever or necessarily the most entertaining storyline. But there's something in me, maybe it's the old school wrestling fan that just likes seeing two dudes who are like huge just beat the ever-loving crap out of each other. So I expect to see nothing less than that coming up. I could possibly see a match between the two coming up as soon as the Payback pay-per-view this month.
Yeah, Retro Brett, you've been saying you've been telling Rusev to pick on someone his own size. There you have it. That would certainly that would be a big time matchup.
Well, it is true that Rusev got the upper hand and the jump on Big E, but he certainly beat the crap out of him tonight, man. That's just old school ass whooping.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, Rusev.
I don't have much else to say on that.
He beats everybody's ass at this point. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to it, Corey. The big matchup of the night. As a huge Roman Reigns fan, I was extremely excited to see what would happen when he fought with Batista. Huge guy himself. We knew that there was probably going to be some tactics here by the other members of the teammates who were there coming out as well. Corey, go ahead and recap this main event for us, man. What happened?
Well, we had a big powerhouse, matchup there, as you said, with one of my favorites, Roman Reigns of the Shield, taking on Batista of Evolution. That was sort of to continue the feud here as we go along with the Shield and Evolution, which looks like it's going to be, as I sort of predicted earlier, it's going to be one of the main angles of the summer, the main storylines that they go with. Yeah. And I think that's a pretty good move. We saw, tonight, the two powerhouses, Batista and Roman Reigns, go at it. There's a lot of contrasting styles within the two stables of Evolution and the Shield. And I think that's going to work out really well. I like the matchup tonight. Of course, we had the kind of a screwy finish where everybody just kind of ran in and it turned into a big brawl. But it did a great job of building anticipation for what now has been booked as one of, if not the main event for Payback, the big six-man tag team rematch from Extreme Rules of the Shield versus Evolution. What did you guys think about the main event?
Well, I would have actually liked to see a legit match between the two, but that's not going to happen with the two stables fighting against each other. But
yeah, that
would have been a great match if they let it go another 5 or 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. But like Corey said, it builds more anticipation if they run into the ring and fight each other. And I think it did a great job of putting over the Shield tonight because they, God, how many men? Probably 9 extra men flooded the ring, and the Shield put them all down.
They came out on top.
Yes.
They're definitely looking like a powerful trio at this point. We like all of their wrestlers at this point. I mean, Roman Reigns is definitely the beast at this point, and who knows how far he can go once he starts getting into single competitions a little bit more. But at this point, Dean Ambrose certainly looks like he could do some damage. Seth Rollins, the whole team here looks like they might be legitimately more powerful than the Evolution, but we'll find out for sure, right, Corey?
Oh, most definitely, man. Like I said, I could see this being one of the main big storylines of the summer, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I would like to see the big blow-off match either at the Battleground pay-per-view in Tampa, which would be great.
We'd like to see that too.
Hopefully in a War Games match eventually. I mean, they keep building up this feud with these matches. So there's going to have to be some kind of big blow-off match eventually, some kind of gimmick match to really put the emphasis and bring some closure to the feud so they can move on.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the match at Payback. I think it's going to be pretty solid, as all the matches have been. And time will tell who comes out on top, but my money's on the Shield.
Yeah, and we should mention that The Evolution, they seemed even more pissed off than they have been in the past. I mean, they seem like they're making a breaking point here. Batista was yelling. He was like, I'm sick of this. I'm done with these guys. So it's good to see that the Evolution is now starting to lose their cool a little bit here.
I think they underestimated the Shield a little bit. I mean, I really do. They're like, oh yeah, we have these guys. We have the experience and the muscle. Yeah, I really think they discounted him.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a great match. We're extremely excited. We have, of course, another Raw coming up next week, and we'll have to see what comes. Hopefully we get some more news about Daniel Bryan, and I'm sure we'll see more from Bray Wyatt in his new master plan that he must do to finally conquer John Cena once and for all. So I'm RJ for Retro Brett. Corey, go ahead and take us out for this past episode of Raw. Another one in the books.
All right, yes, indeed. It was a cool episode of Raw. Hope all of our viewers out there who may be watching will subscribe and like and continue to follow our coverage of both WWE and everything else that we cover. Music, movies, video games, television, you name it. Sports, we're all over it. So make sure you come back and check out our newly created WWE Top 10 that we're going to be doing, like RJ said, we're not sure if we're going to do it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, but somewhat regularly here in the near future. We're going to be giving you guys our opinions by the numbers as far as who we think the top 10 are. So stay tuned and stay trippy.
We'll see you guys in the next episode where we'll unveil our top 10 list. See you guys there.